There are so many cinematic universes in these Indian films. When are we going to get these conclusions? And you might be wondering what conclusions I'm talking about. I don't know Solar. I don't know KGF. I don't know. They're supposed to be Vikram is supposed to also come out with another one, but where are they? But they just keep making new ones. Like Brahmasta was supposed to bring that up, but this one, Chase Lucky with the Blue Futon Ruby, Kalki, if I'm saying that right, 2898 AD. So what's about? I'm not going to call this a simple premise because this goes in different timelines. We're in the wastelands where there's this weird organization, right? That they don't want babies, but they want women that could hold babies that for about 150 days, and they want to get the serum from the kid, if you want to put it that way, burn the bodies and give it to the supreme leader up top. But at the meantime, you have this like 8-foot tall guy, then you have brotherhoods, you have gods, you have a lot of stuff happening in this wasteland. You have hidden cities and mountains. There's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, a lot of stuff. And Indian movies love doing that. They love throwing a lot at you. And I think this one throws a little bit too much at you. And there are just things that happen in the third act of this movie that I just cannot get behind, which I'm like, what were you actually thinking? And however, like I said, this truly reminds me of Brahmasta. If I'm saying that correctly, it was a movie I want to say that came out in September of 2022. It was a very Disney-esque version of the mythical legends, if you want to put it that way. I think this is the more adult-y version of that. So when talking about the pause of this film, I do think when the humor is there, it does connect. I think when there are some really good action set pieces and when the choreography is there, it does connect. I didn't have trouble with the pacing. I know some people in my movie theater did. Yes, I was the only white guy, facts. And during the intermission or interval, there were some people saying, who was snoring? Who was snoring? It's like, it wasn't me. I can promise you that. But you did feel the first half drag a little bit. And this was one of the movies, like there are a couple ones that came out like Tiger 3, like I said, Solar, where there's a 50-50 where the first half of the movie is like, okay, story building, and the second half of the movie is freaking bonkers. Here, it wasn't really like that. It was actually spread out pretty evenly of what each character is, the battle sequences in between each. Did we get a lot of depth for some of the characters? No. And that is also kind of a fault. Now, I don't want to go into spoilers, but I really need to talk about this right now. So, and that's where the negatives come in. Spoilers. So, you've been forewarned. 3, 2, 1. Okay. How it ends, I'm thinking, first I was thinking right when the credits rolled, I was like, how are they going to expand the cinematic universe? I don't understand it because how it ends is, no, let's talk about that later. But the 2898 AD, then I realized the second movie is literally going to be 6,000 years in the past because that's how this movie kind of started off with something that happened 6,000 years in the past and someone is immortal and they're going to have to come back and do something to save someone that they don't want to save. So that's where I'm thinking, okay, the next movie I think is probably going to be called 4898 BC. And I truly think that the next movie is going to be that. And then the third movie is going to be, the big ass battle sequence. And that's my guess. That's my guess from right now. But what some movies like this do to me really irks me is they make you cheer for a guy who literally screwed up an entire civilization. And what I mean by that, they put these charismatic, very famous actors into these very popular and uplifting roles, if you want to put it that way. It makes them do something horrific, but still does things that make him good and that makes the audience cheer for him. And what I mean by that, so there's a hidden mountain, right? Or a hidden town in a mountain. And this guy really wants to get to this citadel or the complex. And it's very Elysium-esque. And when we talk about that, this is very Dune-esque, very Matrix-esque, as well as just a lot of other sci-fi films. I'm not the biggest sci-fi person, so maybe I didn't connect as well. But what I was trying to get at is, so this guy really wants to get in the complex, right? And he's willing to backstab, willing to do whatever the hell he wants. Which, his little computer girl is pretty good. That's a very awesome character they decided to put in this movie. But anyway, so he goes in this place. Doing so has all these complex Star Wars-esque villains attack this mountain, right? And so he doesn't care. He wants the girl with the child to bring it to the Supreme Leader and get into the complex. Well, he does some stupid stuff, kills people, and at the meantime, fighting this 8-foot-tall guy, saves the lady, but also wants to kidnap her. But then also, something's going to occur with the cane that occurs. And then it disappears, and he turns back to kidnapping the girl. The issue with that whole third act is the, leading up the first act, second act. He's not the greatest person, but he doesn't seem like he's going to backstab people or do anything really remotely evil. He does stuff remotely evil in the third act, but for a fact when the movie part 2, part 3 is going to happen, they are going to have him do some badass stuff, have a huge, awesome scene, and try to give him a good, nice arc. Will they bring back the fact that he truly ruined a civilization that's hidden in the mountain? I don't know. And if they don't talk about that, in my guess, in the third movie, it'll be a very, very negative storytelling perspective. But that's where I'm at right now, where I did not like how they just randomly connected him being good, being bad, being good, being bad, being good. Like, his heart is like almost the Grinch. Like, he didn't know where his heart wanted to be. It grew 3 sizes too big, 3 million times too small. And I'm just like, that really irked me when watching this movie. But overall, Kalki 2898 AD, I think it's a solid sci-fi flick. I'm not the biggest sci-fi person in general, so I might not be the right person to discuss this movie as a whole. But I do think there are some good character dynamics, some good story elements, some good fight choreography, but there is some glaring flaws with some of the storytelling in the third act, as well as some of the CGI/green screen at this, Star Wars battle sequence. I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good at all. So Kalki 2898 AD will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons because that's 70%. I won't lie, I was eking between the 60 and 70, but I think the first 2 acts put some good perspective into the movie, but the third act really didn't work for me. But let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So we have, looks like nothing with the critics, but we have a 95% with the audience score. We have 12 audience with a 3.5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. Is that it, really? That many people loved it? Oh, here we go. We have a 1 out of 5, a 0.5 out of 5, a 0.5 out of 5. So, interesting indeed. But we'll go with my 70/95 Chase Leacock here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think Futontopia. You Blue Futoners, thank you for watching. Have a great day. I can watch this tape tomorrow, week from now, month, or a year from now, every single freaking one of you. And thank you for watching this video.